In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, a powerful galactic empire ruled over countless star systems. This empire, built on the backs of many alien races, had stood for millennia. Its reach extended to the farthest corners of the galaxy, or so they thought. The Galactic Council, made up of the eldest and wisest beings from various alien species, gathered in their grand hall. The room buzzed with excitement. A scout ship had returned with news that would shake the very foundations of their empire. Silence, boomed the voice of Emperor Zaxlor, a towering figure with blue skin and eyes that glowed like distant stars. The room fell quiet. Our scouts have made a discovery, a new planet teeming with life, a species unknown to us. Murmurs rippled through the council chamber. How could this be? They thought they had mapped every habitable world in the galaxy. Admiral Krita, a reptilian being with scales that shimmered like polished metal, stepped forward. Your Majesty, we have observed this planet for some time. The inhabitants call it Earth. They call themselves humans. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Tell me more about these humans. Krita activated a hologram in the center of the room. It showed images of Earth, its blue oceans, green lands, and sprawling cities. They are a young race, Your Majesty. They have only recently begun to explore their own solar system. Their technology is primitive compared to ours. The council members laughed. Some even scoffed at the images of human spacecraft, which looked like toys compared to their mighty warships. But the Emperor did not laugh. He watched the images with intense focus. And yet, he said, his voice low and thoughtful, they have achieved much in a short time. Look at how quickly they advance. The hologram showed scenes from Earth's history, from horse-drawn carriages to automobiles, from propeller planes to jet engines, from simple computers to global networks. Your Majesty, spoke Uplix, the Minister of Expansion. Surely you don't see these humans as a threat. They are barely out of their cradle. The Emperor turned his gaze to Uplix, who shrank back under its intensity. It is not what they are now that concerns me. It is what they might become. A heavy silence fell over the room. They all knew what the Emperor meant. Throughout the history of the Galactic Empire, they had encountered many races. Most were easily conquered. Some joined willingly. But a few had resisted. Those wars have been costly. What do you suggest, Your Majesty? Asked Admiral Krita. Emperor Zaxlor stood, his decision made. We will not wait for them to become a threat. We will not allow them to join the galactic community on their terms. We will conquer them now, while they are still weak. The council erupted in cheers. Conquering a primitive race would be easy, they thought. A chance for glory without much risk. But as the Emperor looked at the hologram of Earth, a flicker of doubt crossed his face. There was something about these humans, something in their eyes. A fire, a determination he had not seen in a long time. Prepare the fleet, he commanded. We will offer them one chance to submit. If they refuse, he let the sentence hang in the air. They all knew what would come next. War. A war that would change the galaxy forever. As the council members filed out, eager to prepare for the coming conquest, the Emperor remained. He stared at the image of Earth, spinning slowly in the hologram. I hope you're ready, humans, he whispered to himself. For your sake, I hope you run. Little did he know, running was the last thing humans would do. The massive Galactic Empire scout ship, Stargazer, dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. Its sleek, silver hull gleamed in the light of the distant sun. On the bridge, Captain Vexera watched the blue planet grow larger on the view screen. Scan for defenses, she ordered, her 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Her crew, a mix of different alien species, worked quickly at their stations. Lights flickered across consoles as they analyzed Earth. Captain, reported the sensor officer, a small green creature with antenna. We detect primitive satellites and a small space station. No significant orbital defenses. Vexera nodded. This would be easy. Take us into orbit. Prepare the communication array. As Stargazer approached Earth, chaos erupted on the planet below. In New York, people stopped in the streets, pointing at the sky. The massive alien ship, visible even in daylight, hung over the city like a metallic cloud. In Beijing, military commanders scrambled fighter jets, their hands shaking as they gave orders they never thought they'd have to give. In Moscow, the president sat in a bunker, surrounded by advisors all talking at once. "Should we launch our nukes?" One shouted. "Wait," cried another. "They haven't attacked yet." At the United Nations in Geneva, delegates from every nation argued and debated. Some wanted to welcome the aliens. Others demanded immediate military action. Amidst the panic, a message broadcast on every frequency, in every language. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Empire. Your planet is now under our control. Submit to our rule or face destruction. You have one Earth day to decide." The message played on repeat, its ominous words echoing in homes, offices, and government buildings around the world. In Washington, D.C., President Sarah Chen called an emergency meeting. World leaders joined via secure video link, their faces grim on the large screens that filled the Situation Room. "Ladies and gentlemen," Chen began, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes, "we face the greatest threat in human history. What are our options?" The room erupted in a cacophony of voices. Some argued for immediate surrender. "We can't fight them," cried the French president. "Their technology is far beyond ours." Others called for attack. "We must strike now," insisted the Russian leader, "before they can bring more ships." As the debate raged, a quiet voice cut through the noise. It was Dr. Aisha Patel, a renowned astrophysicist who had been brought in to advise. "Mr. President," she said, her Indian accent thick with emotion, "I believe we have a third option." All eyes turned to her. Chen nodded for her to continue. "We've been monitoring their ship," Patel explained. "It's impressive, yes, but it's just one ship. They're clearly testing our defenses. If they had overwhelming force, why give us time to prepare?" A murmur ran through the room as leaders considered her words. "So what do you suggest?" Chen asked. Patel took a deep breath. "We buy time. We neither submit nor attack. We open a dialogue." For the next several hours, world leaders debated Patel's plan. As the deadline approached, they reached a consensus. Back on the Stargazer, Captain Vexera was surprised when a transmission came from Earth. On her view screen appeared a human woman in a blue suit. "I am President Sarah Chen of the United States, speaking on behalf of Earth. We request a meeting with your leaders to discuss terms." Vexera's mandibles clicked in amusement. These humans were either very brave or very foolish. She decided to humor them. "Very well," she replied. "You may send a small delegation to our ship." As the transmission ended, Vexera turned to her second-in-command. "Prepare a holding cell. I doubt this meeting will last long." Little did she know, the humans were not coming to surrender. They were coming to gather intelligence, to learn about their new enemy. And in the labs and factories of Earth, scientists and engineers were already working around the clock, pushing human technology to its limits. The first contact had been made, but it was only the beginning of a conflict that would change both humanity and the Galactic Empire forever. The small shuttle carrying Earth's delegation docked with the Stargazer. President Chen led the group, accompanied by Dr. Patel, General Wei from China, and Ambassador Nkosi from the African Union. As they stepped onto the alien ship, they tried to hide their awe at the advanced technology surrounding them. Captain Vexera met them in a large, circular room. Her towering form and multiple eyes made the humans feel small, but they stood tall. "Welcome aboard," Vexera said, her voice translated by a small device. "I trust you're here to discuss the terms of your surrender." Chen stepped forward, her face a mask of calm. "Actually, Captain, we're here to negotiate." Vexera's eyes blinked in surprise. "Negotiate? There's nothing to negotiate. Submit or be destroyed. Those are your options." We choose neither, Chen replied firmly. We propose a third option, peaceful coexistence. For the next hour, the humans presented their case. They spoke of trade, cultural exchange, and mutual benefits. All the while, Dr. Patel's eyes darted around the room, taking in every detail of the alien technology. Vexera listened with growing impatience. Finally, she slammed a tentacle-like appendage on the table. Enough. You primitives dare to think you can stand against the Galactic Empire. Your defiance will be your doom. As Vexera ranted, General Wei subtly pressed a button on his watch. Back on Earth, military satellites recorded every word, every image of the alien ship. You have made your choice, Vexera hissed. Prepare for war. The humans were escorted back to their shuttle. As they flew back to Earth, the mood was somber. Well, said Ambassador Nkosi, breaking the silence, that could have gone better. Chen nodded, but not unexpected. Dr. Patel, what did you learn? Patel's eyes gleamed with excitement. More than they realize. Their technology is advanced. Yes, but not incomprehensible. Given time, we can adapt and improve our own tech to match theirs. Time, General Wei grunted. That's what we need. And what we don't have. As the shuttle re-entered Earth's atmosphere, they saw the world had changed. Cities were being evacuated. Military vehicles filled the streets. The sky was thick with aircraft as nations mobilized their forces. In the following days, Earth became a hive of frenzied activity. In Silicon Valley, tech giants worked with military contractors, developing new AI systems to counter alien tech. Social media companies used their algorithms to coordinate global communication and resource distribution. In China's sprawling factories, production lines that once made smartphones now churned out advanced weaponry. Robots worked alongside humans, manufacturing around the clock. In the savannas of Africa, hidden bunkers housed newly developed energy weapons, powered by technology reverse-engineered from the alien ship's scans. In orbit, the International Space Station was quickly retrofitted into a makeshift battle station. Astronauts worked alongside engineers to install hastily developed shield technology. Underground, in hardened bunkers around the world, supercomputers crunched data, predicting alien tactics and developing countermeasures. President Chen addressed the world from a secure location. Her voice was broadcast to every phone, every screen, every speaker on the planet. People of Earth, we stand at a crossroads in human history. An alien force threatens our very existence, but we will not submit. We will not run. We will stand and fight. Cheers erupted in town squares and living rooms across the globe. For too long, we've been divided by borders, by ideologies, by petty differences. But today, we are one people, one planet, united against a common threat. In labs and workshops, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly. They combined technologies in ways never before imagined. Quantum computers merged with biotech. Nanotechnology enhanced traditional weapons. The road ahead will be hard, Chen continued. We face an enemy with technology far beyond our own, but they underestimate us. They see our youth and think us weak. They don't understand that our greatest strength lies not in our technology, but in our spirit. As Chen spoke, the first wave of alien ships appeared on long-range sensors. The Galactic Empire was coming in force. We are humanity. Chen's voice rose to a crescendo. We have survived ice ages and plagues. We've walked on our moon and sent robots to distant planets. We've split the atom and unraveled the human genome. And now we will take our place among the stars. A roar of determination swept across the planet. Humanity was ready. The battle for Earth was about to begin. The sky over Earth darkened as the Galactic Empire's massive fleet arrived. Thousands of ships, from nimble fighters to enormous dreadnoughts, filled the orbit. On the bridge of the flagship, Emperor Zaxlor watched the blue planet with cold eyes. "Begin the attack," he commanded. Beams of energy lanced down from the alien ships, targeting major cities and military installations. But as they struck, something unexpected happened. Shimmering force fields flickered to life, absorbing much of the attack. In a hidden bunker, Dr. Patel pumped her fist. "The shields are working," she shouted to President Chen. "They're not as strong as the aliens, but they're buying us time." Chen nodded grimly. "Launch the counterattack." Around the world, hidden silos opened. Rockets streaked into the sky, carrying payloads far deadlier than simple nuclear warheads. As they approached the alien fleet, they split apart, releasing swarms of smaller drones. On the Empire's ships, alarms blared. "My Emperor," reported Admiral Krita, "the humans are launching some kind of attack, but our sensors can't lock onto the projectiles." Zaxlor leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "Impossible. Their technology is too primitive." But as he spoke, the drones struck. They latched onto the hulls of the Empire's ships, boring through with surprising speed. Once inside, they released clouds of nanobots that began to eat away at critical systems. "We're losing ships," Krita shouted, disbelief in his voice. How? How are they doing this?" In low Earth orbit, another battle raged. The hastily upgraded International Space Station, now bristling with weapons, led a ragtag fleet of retrofitted satellites and small craft. They darted between the massive alien ships, their small size and quick movements making them hard targets. Commander Elena Rodriguez, leading the space defense, grinned as her small ship dodged another blast. "Just like swatting flies with a sledgehammer," she muttered. "Keep them busy, people. Every second we survive is another second Earth has to prepare." On the ground, the situation was dire, but not hopeless. Alien dropships landed in major cities, disgorging troops. But they found not panic-stricken civilians, but prepared defenders. In the streets of New York, Lieutenant Sarah Wong led her squad against a group of alien soldiers. The aliens had energy weapons and advanced armor, but Sarah's team had the home field advantage and some surprises of their own. "Now," Sarah shouted. Her soldiers activated devices on their wrists. Suddenly, holographic duplicates of each human soldier appeared, confusing the alien troops. In the chaos, Sarah's real team flanked and overwhelmed the invaders. Similar scenes play out across the globe. Humanity's militaries, bolstered by hastily developed tech and a fierce will to survive, held their ground. Back in space, Emperor Zaxlor watched in growing fury as his invasion faltered. "How?" he raged. "How are these primitives resisting us?" A junior officer approached nervously. "Your Majesty, we've intercepted some of their communications. It seems they've adapted some of our technology and combined it with their own in ways we never considered." Zaxlor's eyes widened. He remembered his earlier doubts, the fire he'd seen in human eyes. He'd underestimated them, and now he was paying the price. "All ships," he commanded, "regroup at these coordinates. We need to rethink our strategy." As the alien fleet pulled back to regroup, a cheer went up from humanity's defenders. They'd survived the first wave. Earth still stood. In the command bunker, President Chen allowed herself a small smile. "We've won the first battle," she said to her advisors, "but the war is far from over. We've surprised them, but now they'll come back harder." Dr. Patel nodded, already working on a tablet. "We'll be ready. Every moment we fight, we learn more about their tech. We'll keep adapting, keep improving." General Wei, his uniform dusty from the front lines, grinned fiercely. "Let them come. We'll show them why you should never underestimate humans." As the room buzzed with activity, preparing for the next phase of the war, Shen looked at a screen showing the battered but unbroken Earth. The first battle was won. Against all odds, humanity had stood against the galaxy's mightiest empire and survived. The real test was yet to come, but for now, hope burned bright. The Galactic Empire had come to conquer. Instead, they'd awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity was at war, and they intended to win. Emperor Zaxlor paced the bridge of his flagship, his forearms clenched in frustration. Around him, his advisors watched nervously. The holographic displays showed the aftermath of their failed first attack on Earth. How? Zaxlor growled. How did these primitives repel us? Admiral Krita stepped forward, her scales dull with stress. Your Majesty, we've analyzed the battle data. The humans, they're not what we expected. A wave of Zaxlor's hand brought up detailed images of Earth's defenses. Explain, he demanded. Their shields, Krita began. They're crude, but effective. And their weapons, they've somehow combined their primitive projectiles with advanced energy tech. We've never seen anything like it. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. You're saying they reversed engineered our technology? In days. Uplix, the Minister of Expansion, spoke up. Not just reversed engineered, Your Majesty. They've improved upon it. Their AI systems are adapting to our tactics faster than we can change them. Zaxlor slammed a fist on the console, making everyone jump. Impossible. They're savages, barely out of their stone age. And yet came a quiet voice. All eyes turned to Vesnin, the ancient lorekeeper. And yet, they stand. The old alien hobbled forward, his eyes glowing with an inner light. I've been searching our archives, Your Majesty. There are legends, warnings about species like these humans. Legends, Zaxlor scoffed. We don't have time for fairy tales, old one. Vesnin continued, undeterred. The legends speak of races that burn bright and fast, that adapt and grow at incredible rates. Races that, when faced with extinction, fight with a ferocity that defies logic. A hushed silence fell over the bridge. Even Zaxlor seemed to be listening now. The legends call them awakeners, Vesnin said, for they have the power to shake the very foundations of galactic order. Back on Earth, in a hastily constructed war room, humanity's leaders were having a very different conversation. We've pushed them back, General Wei said, pointing to a holographic map of the solar system. But they're regrouping. We need to press our advantage. Dr. Petal shook her head. Our advantage is technological innovation, not numbers. We need more time to develop our new weapons. President Chen listened to the debate, her eyes never leaving the map. Finally, she spoke. We do both. We'll launch a series of hit-and-run attacks. Keep them off balance while we prepare for the real fight. Around the world, humanity's war machine kicked into even higher gear. Factories that had once made cars now produced spacecraft. Universities became research centers for new weapons and defenses. Every human, from children to the elderly, played a part in the war effort. In orbit, Commander Rodriguez led a daring raid on the alien fleet. Her ships, small and agile, darted between the massive Empire vessels. They fired strange weapons that phased through the alien shields, causing havoc. Yahoo! Rodriguez yelled as her ship spun past a dreadnought, leaving it crippled in her wake. That's from New York, you oversized squids. On the ground, Lieutenant Wong led a team into the wreckage of an alien ship that had crashed in the Amazon rainforest. They fought through the jungle and alien defenses, finally reaching the ship's core. Jackpot, Wong whispered, staring at the pulsing alien engine. Dr. Patil is going to have a field day with this. As the humans pressed their advantage, the Empire fell into disarray. Ship captains argued over tactics. Scientists frantically tried to counter the humans' innovations. And through it all, Emperor Zaxlor watched, his anger turning to a grudging respect. They're not going to submit, are they? He asked Vesnin. The old lorekeeper shook his head. No, Your Majesty. I fear we've awakened something unprecedented. Zaxlor turned back to the view of Earth, shining blue and defiant. Then we have no choice. Summon the full might of the Empire. We end this now. As the call went out across the galaxy and more Empire ships began to pour into the solar system, Earth prepared. In labs and factories, on ships and in bunkers, humans worked tirelessly. They knew the real test was yet to come. President Chen addressed her advisors, her face grim but determined. "They're coming back, and in greater numbers. But we've proven one thing. We can fight them. We can win." She looked around the room, meeting each pair of eyes. "We are humanity. We've faced extinction before, and we've always survived. This time will be no different." As if in response, alarms began to blare. On every screen, thousands of new contacts appeared, approaching Earth. The Empire was coming. The true war was about to begin, and humanity was ready. The skies above Earth lit up with the fire of 1,000 suns as the full might of the Galactic Empire arrived. Millions of ships from every corner of the galaxy filled the space around the small blue planet. It was a force designed to crush worlds, to extinguish civilizations. But Earth was ready. In a secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Aisha Patel stood before a machine that defied description. It was a swirling mass of energy, contained within fields of pure thought. "It's ready," she said, her voice filled with awe and fear. President Chen nodded grimly. "Do it." Patel pressed a button, and the machine hummed to life. Across the globe, hidden emitters activated. A wave of energy washed over the planet and expanded into space. On the bridge of the Empire's flagship, alarms blared. "What's happening?" Emperor Zaxlor demanded. Admiral Krita's eyes widened in shock. "Our ships, they're losing power." The energy wave had done the impossible. It had changed the very laws of physics in a bubble around Earth. The advanced technology of the Empire, based on principles humanity had rewritten, began to fail. But human ships, designed for this new reality, surged forward. Commander Elena Rodriguez grinned as her fleet of small, agile craft darted between the now sluggish Empire ships. "All units, engage at will. Show them what humanity can do." The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships, powered by a strange mix of fusion, dark matter, and pure human determination, tore through the Empire's fleet. On the ground, the fight was just as fierce. Lieutenant Sarah Wong led a team of mech-suited soldiers against landing Empire forces. Their suits, a blend of stolen alien tech and human innovation, made them more than a match for the invaders. "Push them back," Wong shouted, her suit's arms transforming into a plasma cannon. For Earth. But the Empire was vast, and desperation made them dangerous. They began to use banned weapons, planet killers that could crack Earth's crust. In orbit, a massive Empire dreadnought aimed its main gun at the planet. "If we can't have it, no one will," snarled its captain. But before it could fire, a small ship appeared out of nowhere, right in front of its barrel. It was piloted by Jack Thompson, a former stunt pilot turned spacefighter. "Sorry, folks," Jack quipped. "This show's been canceled." He activated a device on his ship, and both he and the dreadnought vanished, teleported into the heart of the sun. Back on Earth, in labs and workshops, humans continued to push the boundaries of science. They weren't just fighting the Empire. They were outthinking them at every turn. Young Zara Kim, a 15-year-old prodigy, developed an AI that could predict Empire tactics before they happened. Old man Gerald Fisher, a retired engineer, created a recycling system that could turn Empire debris into new human ships in hours. And in a hidden base on Mars, a team led by Dr. Carlos Ortiz put the finishing touches on humanity's secret weapon, a device that could control wormholes. "It's done," Ortiz said, his voice trembling with excitement. "We can send them home. All of them." As the battle raged across the solar system, President Chen received the news. She turned to her advisors, hope shining in her eyes. "It's time to end this war. On our terms." She opened a channel to the Empire's flagship. Emperor Zaxlor's face appeared, twisted with rage and disbelief. "How?" he demanded. "How are you doing this?" Chen smiled, a fierce, proud smile. "Because we're human. This is what we do. We adapt. We overcome. And we never, ever give up." She leaned forward. You came to conquer us. Instead, you've made us stronger than we ever dreamed possible. And now, Emperor, we're giving you one chance. Leave, never return, or we'll show you just how far human ingenuity can really go." As if to emphasize her point, a wormhole opened behind the Empire's fleet, large enough to swallow worlds. Zaxlor stared, his anger fading to awe. "What are you?" he whispered. Chen's answer was simple. "We are humanity, and we're just getting started." The fate of Earth, and indeed the galaxy, hung in the balance. The next move was the Empire's. But for the first time since the war began, it was humanity holding all the cards. The massive wormhole hung in space like a cosmic maw, ready to swallow the Empire's fleet. On Earth and throughout the solar system, humans held their breath. The next few moments would decide the fate of their species. Emperor Zaxlor stared at the screen, his 4 eyes wide with disbelief. He turned to his advisors, but they were as shocked as he was. For the first time in his long life, the Emperor of the galaxy's mightiest civilization felt truly afraid. "Your orders, Your Majesty," Admiral Krita asked, her voice trembling. Zaxlor opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. In that moment of hesitation, chaos erupted. A group of Empire ships, driven by fear and desperation, broke formation. They fired their planet-killer weapons at Earth. The beams of destructive energy lanced towards the blue planet. But they never reached their target. In orbit, Commander Elena Rodriguez saw the attack coming. "Oh no, you don't," she growled. She activated the new defense system. A shimmering field of energy enveloped Earth, absorbing the planet-killer beams and growing stronger with each hit. On the ground, people cheered as the sky lit up with the thwarted attack. In the command bunker, President Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Now," she said quietly. Dr. Carlos Ortiz, monitoring the wormhole device on Mars, nodded. He pressed a series of buttons. The wormhole pulsed. Tendrils of energy reached out, wrapping around the Empire ships that had attacked Earth. In a flash of light, they vanished, sent to the farthest corner of the galaxy. Emperor Zaxlor watched in horror as a third of his fleet disappeared. "Stop," he shouted. "All ships, stand down." But it was too late. The battle had reignited. Human ships darted between the Empire vessels, their impossible technology wreaking havoc. More and more Empire ships were caught by the wormhole, vanishing from the solar system. In the chaos, a small human ship approached the Emperor's flagship. It was piloted by Lieutenant Sarah Wong. Her mech suit interfaced directly with the craft. "Emperor Zaxlor," her voice came over the comm. "Your Majesty, please, end this war. You've seen what we can do. We don't want to destroy you, but we will defend our home." Zaxlor looked at the human ship, so small against his massive flagship, yet it was not fear he felt now, but a grudging respect. "You," he said slowly, "you are the awakeners the legends spoke of, the fire that reshapes the galaxy." He turned to Admiral Krita. "Send the signal. All ships are to cease fire and retreat through the wormhole." A hush fell over the battlefield as the Emperor's order was relayed. Slowly, the remaining Empire ships turned and entered the wormhole, disappearing in flashes of light. Finally, only the flagship remained. Emperor Zaxlor once again faced President Chen on the view screen. "You have won, humans," he said. "But know this, you have changed the balance of the galaxy. Others will come, seeking your power, your technology." Chen nodded solemnly. "We'll be ready. And next time, perhaps we can meet as friends, not enemies." Zaxlor was silent for a moment. Then, surprisingly, he smiled. "Perhaps. Farewell, humans. May the stars watch over you." With that, the flagship entered the wormhole. There was a final flash of light, and then silence. Earth's solar system was clear of all Empire ships. For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. Then, slowly, a cheer began to build. On Earth, on the moon base, on Mars, on ships throughout the system, humans celebrated. They had faced the greatest threat in their history, and they had emerged victorious. In the command bunker, President Chen addressed her team. "We've won the war," she said, "but our journey is just beginning. We've taken our first steps into a larger galaxy. It's time to show the universe what humanity can really do." As the celebrations continued, scientists and engineers were already at work, pushing the boundaries of their new technologies. The stars, once so distant, now seemed within reach. Humanity had been warned to run. Instead, they had stood their ground. And in doing so, they had changed the course of galactic history forever. The age of Earth was over. The age of humanity had begun.